In Overkill Smuggler Pack 4, a pistol with a built-in silencer got added to the game, the Gecko M2. Well, a built-in silencer? That makes it perfect for stealth. But what makes it so different from any other weapon you can slap a suppressor on? Well, for the most part, nothing. But there is one small, itsy-bitsy, teeny-weeny little bit of text that you gotta read. It has shotgun push mechanics. Now this is a totally out-of-the-blue addition to the weapon, but you know what? I'll take it. So this weapon went from a rather ordinary firearm with a gameplay gimmick, kind of like the AS Val, the assault rifle with the built-in suppressor, and now it's a weapon that I see some people saying is the new best stealth weapon. So what is it then? Is this pistol the new best stealth weapon for Payday? Well, I tested the Gecko in a bunch of different scenarios, so let's take a closer look at this gun and compare it with other popular options for stealth. First off, a real brief recap on why shotgun push mechanics matter. For any avid stealther of this game, you'll see them running a suppressed shotgun. Why? The reason is simple. Shotguns have the capability of blasting enemies at close range and propelling their bodies far away from their starting position. This small but useful mechanic has become the backbone of a myriad of stealthing techniques. By utilizing the shotgun's push mechanics, you can take out guards that are otherwise in awkward positions, that is, being in line of sight by other guards or cameras, and shooting them out of the way into a safe spot to take a pager or bag their body. Or in other instances, there's also shooting enemies into completely safe zones, one where guards or cameras have no line of sight of and or cannot patrol to, thus saving yourself a body bag. And that's where this pistol comes in. By being permanently suppressed as well as having the same push mechanics as shotguns, now this weapon gains functionality and utility that no other weapon has besides shotguns. Automatically, this makes this weapon the best pistol for stealth. But what about the best stealth weapon in the entire game? Well, let's just take a look at the pros of this gun. First and foremost, it's a no-brainer weapon. It might be a little bit of a stretch to call this a pro, since realistically, anyone that has a moderate amount of time invested into the game won't have this issue, but I suppose it is worth mentioning regardless. Since the pistol does have a built-in suppressor, that means unlike any other weapon you bring, it doesn't need any further modding. Just buy the weapon, and you can use it right away at its full potential. Perhaps you've struggled with money in the early game, and you just can't invest any more into buying than just the weapon. Or maybe you have a hard time targeting silencer mods. The Gecko pistol is the clear choice. But like I said, this is a really specific and quite honestly negligible scenario, since money is easy enough to come by, and with stuff like side jobs, getting a silencer shouldn't be that hard. The more likely scenario is actually you've been swapping your weapons or builds around and you have like 5 of them in your inventory, all modded differently for different builds, and maybe you forgot which one actually had the suppressor on. And with a Gecko, there's never any worry since they're all suppressed. I've made that mistake myself when equipping different judges and accidentally bringing a loud one for stealth. So, the main argument for this pistol is that it gains the functionality of shotguns. So let's talk the differences between the two. What a pistol has over shotguns is, obviously, better accuracy at range. With shotguns, you have spread, and that may or may not be an issue. On one hand, spread is an issue because if you try to take out a target and you don't hit all of your bullets, some may fly off behind your target. Most of the time, not an issue, but there are some maps in where there's glass or there's an alarm system in place and hitting something else may not be the smartest idea. If you break glass, other guards can find it and sound the alarm, or if they're even close enough, that means they can alert everyone within the area because they hear the sound. And both of those basically means that you screwed over your run. And then, like I said, there are even some heists where the glass just straight up has an alarm, so hitting it at all means it automatically fails your stealth. Either way, both of those scenarios become issues when you have to kill guards or civilians in front of glass. One could argue to, just get good, make sure you aim and kill and don't miss, but in the heat of things, it's incredibly easy to miss maybe a tiny bit, or maybe if you're just too far away, and you can't hit all your pellets because of the spread of the shotgun. As an avid stealther, I'd have to say that it's definitely not a factor that's going to make or break every future stealth run I do, but it has happened often enough where, consideration needs to be taken. So the better accuracy can be an advantage. And with the accuracy at range, is that worth mentioning? This one's a bit of a hard sell since the thing is, in stealth, enemies will die to any damage, as long as they're not alert. That means even a grazing shotgun kill can kill them a mile away. But from my testing, I did find it easier to acquire and take down targets at longer ranges because of its inherently higher accuracy. So yes, it is an advantage, but realistically, how often would you do this? The problem with stealth is that if you kill something far away, you have to go run over there to bag the body anyway. Or on the other hand, if someone is so far away, how can you tell they're not being watched by another guard or camera or civilian or something? The problem with this game's stealth design is that this scenario almost never happens. One, because the maps are almost never designed in a way to take advantage of it, and two, because it's just generally not a wise decision. So yeah, you know, the Gecko is great at range compared to a shotgun, but it doesn't matter that much. And finally, the last scenario I thought of in which the Gecko is better than its other stealth counterparts is when you bring it to, quote-unquote, assassination-style stealth missions. For example, Big Oil Day 1, or the outside portion of Scarface Mansion. Basically, the stealthable sections that situate enemies around the map without pagers. That means you can kill them as long as you can stop other guards or cameras from noticing. In fact, that's actually recommended, since, you know, getting rid of these guys generally makes the stealth easier. So those are the two big heists that I can remember off the top of my head, but there are a few others that utilize no pager guards. But it really only makes a big difference for the ones I mentioned. So with a high fire rate and a relatively big magazine, it deals with those scenarios much more effectively than any other shotgun could. Unfortunately, this is such a rare type of heist. Again, I'd be hard-pressed to say that it makes a big difference, especially when these heists can also be done with another suppressed assault rifle, or even other shotguns, but, you know, you just have to work a little bit better with them. Now let's change gears and talk about the competition. For comparison, I'm using the Judge shotgun, which is the gold standard of stealth weapons. Why? Well, for a lot of similar reasons I talked about earlier, actually. One, it's a no-brainer weapon. You know, just slap on a suppressor and you're good to go. And it's also got high concealment, so it's definitely a plug-and-play weapon. It's also got the added benefit of being totally free. No DLC required, meaning it's accessible to every player in the game. Alright, so what are the pros with sticking with a shotgun? Funny enough, the lower accuracy mentioned before can be a legitimate reason to choose shotguns over precision weapons for stealth. The reason is simple. You don't have to aim as accurately to hit your target in time-sensitive scenarios. When you don't have time to aim, it's important to just get out your shot and move on. Like accidentally killing a guard in front of a camera, you gotta move fast before the camera spots the body. Or if you're doing one of those missions where you have limited time to take out cameras, like Go Bang or No Mercy. You know, you don't always have time to make super accurate shots. Sometimes you just gotta save as much time as you possibly can. It's because of situations like that I love a hacker perk deck so much. You know, instant ECM jam in case of a fuck up. Alright, so what else does the shotgun have over other weapons? Well, one kind of small thing which I find indispensable for any stealth run is the ability to break locks with just one shot. In this game, there are various locks that can be shot open, all of which need a certain amount of bullets before it breaks. Locked gates, wooden doors, these are entrances that can be shot open. With other weapons, it takes a few shots. With shotguns, it needs just one shot. A good example of this is planks. It takes exactly 15 shots for guns to break it. That means 15 sniper shots, 15 LMG shots, 15 assault rifle shots, but only 2 shotgun shots. Due to how shotguns work, each shot contains all the shotgun pellets, and each of those technically counts as an individual shot. So shotguns are definitely the clear winner when it comes to breaking objects quickly. Will it make or break any stealth runs? Nah, but it's nice to have. And finally, the last small advantage of shotguns, the damage output. Like mentioned earlier, when enemies aren't alerted in stealth, they'll die to any damage done to them. But what if they are alerted? What happens if you get caught and you gotta take out a guard quick? Enemies can actually get a little tanky on the higher difficulties, and if you aren't quick enough, sometimes they can shoot back, and it's game over for your stealth run. The Judge in particular is capable of some insane DPS. With its high damage and high fire rate, that makes the Judge perfect as a panic weapon when you mess up and you gotta kill a fully alert guard. But, you know, while it is faster, realistically, again, it's not a big difference. Even more so if you're making sure you're shooting fast and you just don't miss your shots. However, sometimes those extra couple shots might increase your chance to miss, or maybe you were just a little slow. So you know what? That can sometimes make a difference. Alright, at first I thought that this was just going to be a quick 5-minute video, but goddamn, that went on for way too long. I put way too much work into these videos that nobody even watches anymore. So what is the final verdict? The Gecko is definitely not the best stealth weapon. Is it good? Absolutely. It can also be a great change of pace, since, I'd wager any avid stealther in this game has spent nearly the entire game's life cycle stealthing with a suppressed judge. However, at most, it's a side grade option. There are certain things it can do, and certain things it can't. Arguably, I'd say there are more things that it can't do, at least for my own preferences, but that just more or less depends on how each person feels about certain things. In any case, I feel like this is actually a good thing, since that means no one is pressured to buy some overpriced DLC just to get what some people are claiming to be the best stealth weapon. It's fine, it can be a side grade, and that's that. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. And fuck you, I'll see you next time.